Okay, I'm just going to make a quick video to show mostly Mark Sorcerer, what I was talking about with the Sorcerer the other day. This is my Sorcerer. This is Venomous. You don't have to really care about what gear he's wearing. Essentially, it's pretty easy to do reasonable DPS with a Sorcerer with this setup anyway. What you have to care about is that in main hand you've got an Inferno staff, and in second bar you've got a Lightning staff. What I was saying the other day, so Inner Light, which gives you the spell crit, and that is in first slot on both bars. Front bar we've got what is basically just single target DPS. Crystal Fragments, you only press Crystal Fragments when it costs 50% less magika and deals 10% more damage and is instacast. You'll see how it changes on my UI when it does that. This is what often comes up top for me in my DPS is Force Pulse, which is your bread and butter. It's really, really nice. And here's your Execute, which you only use if the enemy falls below 20% of health. And this is your pet, which your pet again is on both bars. So I put it there because also activating the pet activates an AoE, and this is my AoE bar. So bar 1, Inner Light, Crystal Frags, Force Pulse, Mage's Wrath, pet. Bar 2, Inner Light again, Liquid Lightning, which you've already got, Blockade of Storms, which you've already got, and the pet. The reason I put the pet there is so I can go 2, 3, 4, and that activates all 3 AoEs. This is also key to this build, Power Surge. Power Surge gives you sustain. Every time you do a critical, you heal yourself for 2550 health, which can also crit. This effect can occur every 1 second. So if you imagine you've got these 3 dots down, dot, 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 and that's doing damage every 2 seconds, that's doing damage every 1 second, that's doing damage every 1 second, and you've got 50% crit. You're mathematically guaranteed to critically hit, which gives you health back every second. It's brilliant. Ultimates, Thunderous Rage. It's the ultimate for the Destruction Staff, and it is fantastic, especially on groups. It's just unbelievable damage. On the front bar, I tend not to use it very often. I only use it if I'm really stuck for magika. This is Energy Overload, which brings up the extra bar that you were saying. If you do use this, which I don't, the reason that I use this is because it gives me more spell damage because of the Sorcerer passives. Energy Overload will each attack deals 3% additional damage and restores 1160 magika on the morph. So that's what I'm looking for there is my magika back. So I might, if I'm really stuffed, I'll hit that and stand there and spam and get my magika back. But you've got to make sure you've got your pet on your overload bar as well. Just a really quick, this is a target skeleton. This is in my house, and target skeletons, it gives you an idea of what you can do in terms of DPS, but it's not anything like the real world. So what I'll do is I'll just show you the rotation. So the rotation always starts with Critical Surge. So Critical Surge gives me these 3 buffs here: Major Sorcery, which gives you 20% spell damage, Major Brutality, which doesn't matter to us, and Power Surge, which is the one that critically heals you. So that one button does all that, and you can see when I hit it, they all go for 30 seconds at least. So I've got 30 seconds before I have to press it again. So start the fight, boom, lay down 1 AoE, lay down 2 AoEs, press the pet's AoE, swap. Right, Force Pulse, there's Crystal Frags going off, you see it change, hit Crystal Frags. My AoEs are down, 1 AoE, 2 AoE, 3 AoEs. Force Pulse, Force Pulse, Force Pulse, Crystal Frags. AoEs are about to go down, lay them back up again. AoE, AoE, AoE. I'm also popping a potion, but the 3rd time round, then I hit my Critical Surge again. Crystal Frags is up. Right, AoEs are down, lay them back down again. 2, 3. Off we go. Right, our ultimate is up, so we'll do that, which is, as you can see, a lot of damage. AoEs down, put them back up again. 2, 3. Right, we're out of mana. Heavy attack. 1, 2, lay down the AoEs again. 1, 2, 3. Heavy attack. Heavy attack. Lay down the AoEs again. 1, 2, 3. Make sure that your critical surge is running right. Got a bit of mana. Just power back in. Build some mana up with a potion. AoEs are down. This is the key to this, is keeping your AoEs up. If you're on a single target, you can always swap to your main bar to do heavy attacks, because if it's a single target, then you get an 8 or 10% bonus on your heavy attacks if you're using your Inferno staff. So there we go, and you can see 2, 3, boom. Right, so if I move away, you can see in the top left hand corner of the screen I've got 15,000 DPS. I've got a short video that I took. I didn't bother talking on it. I was just testing things, but it's against the, you can see in the bottom left hand corner just there, 15,699 DPS, which fairly matches my parser that I've got. If I bring up my my combat metrics, you can see liquid lightning, that's the dot on the ground. Blockade of storms, that's the other dot on the ground. And familiar damage pulse, that's the dot from the pet. That's the majority of my damage. Then you've got crystal frags and your force pulses and heavy attacks there. So that is that pretty much. That should you can get that build so easily. You won't get the DPS that I've got because, very briefly, my gear is all gold and all a very high level. Actually, these could both be made gold, and that would increase my DPS quite a bit because my spell damage is 2062. If they were gold, then I would probably have 2200 spell damage, and that would increase. So that's essentially it. But I can pull equal DPS to that with this kind of build in crafted gear. So it's really nice and easy. And as I say, the rotation is so simple. It's just 1, 2, 3. Then you start throwing force pulse until crystal frags procs. Fire your crystal frags off, and you're there. That is it. If you have problems with regeneration, then I'm using a food that, you can see how high my magika is. It's pretty ridiculous. I'm using a food that, this one here, that only gives me max health and max magika. I've got the option to switch to Witch Mother's Potent Brew, which gives me an extra 319 magika recovery. Yeah, I'll lose 2,000 health and 1,800. Actually, only 1,400 magika. So I might run that on a long fight, but a short fight you can do a lot of DPS with this build. Bear in mind the build is not a single target build, because it's got all 3 of those AoEs hit. It will hit as many mobs as are there. So if I'm doing 15,700 against a single target, you can bet your ass 13,000 of that is just DPS that would affect 6 targets if they were there. So if you're not fighting a single target, you're going to do severely more. In the other video, I think about 26k on in a trial on the final boss in the trial, and it's not optimal because she stuns you at the end, so I lose loads of DPS. But yeah, basically it's a piece of cake, absolute piece of cake. Okay.